Hey, it's Ramsey Dewey over here in Hainan, China, over the South China Sea. Welcome to another edition of Q&A with the Coach. Our friend Matthew sent in a question, pretty long email. I don't have it in front of me, so I'll just try to give you the gist of it. He's 19 years old, he's about to go off to college for the first time, and he said that fear has been the driving force in his life, that he's made his decisions based on that. He's filled with a lot of anxiety, and it's led him to kind of being a couch potato, sitting around playing games, being comfortable. He mentioned that a lot, like it has led him to being comfortable and just focusing on what makes him comfortable. He's a bit overweight, and he's sought counseling. He's tried to do some things to feel better about himself, but it's just not working out the way he wants it to. And so he's turning to me saying, "Ramsey, you seem like you're a wise guy." Well, he didn't say a wise guy. Why is it that we say a wise man? And that's like that's high praise. You're a wise man. But if you say you're a wise guy, suddenly that's a cultural idiom meaning you're a smart aleck. And the same thing with smart aleck. Like all these terms, like implying that someone is smart as a hyperbole means they're stupid. Like, good job, Einstein. You say that with a smirk on your face, and suddenly it means you're the opposite of Einstein. Anyway, Matthew has a problem, and he thinks I might have some wisdom to impart to him. Wisdom comes with time. I remember being 19 years old. Man, what was I doing when I was 19? When I was 19 years old, I moved over to Argentina, over to the province of Buenos Aires, and I was a missionary. I finished high school a little early, age 17. So I had about a year and a half of college behind me by the time I was 19. And so I go out as a missionary, an LDS missionary, a missionary for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, age 19. Being this, I'm not going to say a know-nothing, but know very little type of kid, going out into some very dangerous neighborhoods in these slums. And I have some friends out there on the internet from Argentina, from some nice places in Buenos Aires, and they're like, "Ramsey, why don't you ever talk about the nice places in Argentina?" I'll tell you, I've never been to them. I didn't go as a missionary to the nice places in Argentina, man. I went to the slums. What did Jesus teach you? He said, the sick are the ones who need the physician, not the healthy. And that is what he said to, the scribes and the Pharisees, the religious leaders of his time, when they saw him having dinner and hanging out with the sinners and the publicans. The bad guys, the riffraff of their society. They're like, "Dude, what is up with that? You're supposed to be this great holy man, and here you are with the riffraff." And he's like, "Guys, you don't get it. These are the people that need me. If you're so holy, what do you need me for? The physician is there to heal the sick." Is this a roundabout way of telling Matthew he needs Jesus in his life? Maybe. Look into it. But let's try to get something really practical out there, really something you can do, something you can take away from this video right here. Even though, like I said before, the acquisition of wisdom is a lifelong pursuit. And if I have any wisdom at all, didn't come quickly, that's for sure. So I'm 42 years old now, but back at age 19, I was a missionary in the slums. If you've never been there, to these vicios de miseria, I'll describe them to you a little bit. There are these third world slums, houses made of garbage and cardboard and scraps of tinfoil and driftwood and whatever people could find to make walls and roofs. And instead of toilets, there were open sewer trenches dug along the sides of the road, the zanja. Las zanjas on the side of the road, and they were just filled with sewage and they stunk, and it was nasty. Flies buzzing around, little naked kids covered in flies, running around crying, and very, very poor people with one set of clothes or less to their name. People eating, surviving on very, very little, and what little they had was largely unpalatable. Man, I remember there was this old lady invited me in for dinner, a dinner which she had cooked outside her tiny little hut, which was smaller than the bed I sleep in. And I had to crouch down to get inside this hut, and she made this soup, this stew, something like that, out of some animal she had caught, and it was foul, and it was filthy, but it was all she had, and she gave all she had to me, and you can't say no to that. I mean, I tried, but she wouldn't take no for an answer. And so I sit down in this tiny little hut made out of garbage with this old woman who's all by herself making rat soup or something like that. And I eat it and I thank her, and I've reflected on that moment many, many, many times in the coming decades. "19 is a baby, but right now it's all you got, man." Look out into that ocean right there. It's pretty big. It's pretty big. I mean, just what's visible on this camera is, I don't know how many billions, trillions of gallons of water. And that's just a tiny little drop in the bucket of what the ocean is. So we can't even see the big picture right here. And it looks pretty big as it is. All right, so right now that's you at age 19. You're like, man, this is big. This is heavy. This is immense. This is the ocean. This is giant. Whoa. But if we could just pan out into space, we'd start to see, whoa, the ocean's a whole lot bigger than that. And then we would pan out and say, whoa, the Earth is a whole lot smaller than we thought it was. And then we'd start to see the rest of the solar system and the rest of our galaxy and the rest of this galactic cluster. And then we'd pan out to the edges of the known universe and be like, holy crap, we are a hood mite on infinity. Learning a little bit about scope. It's my daughter right over there, walking toward me.
Hey guys.
Let's see what she has to say.
I have a new shell, and his name's called Shelly.
She found a seashell. That's pretty cool.
Look at it. Look at the patterns.
Awesome.
I'm
Sometimes
gonna
it's...
take a walk.
All right. Sometimes it's the little things. Eve's gonna walk with me right now. Sometimes it's the little things we got to pay attention to, and sometimes it's the big things. Like I said before.
Found another shell. It's purple. I'm throwing it.
What's making my daughter here happy is finding these tiny little shells in the sand, which in the grand scope of things are nothing really, but in her childhood mind, these are treasures. This is happiness. This is joy. And you're about to embark on this brand new adventure, going off to college at age 19. And so from your perspective, once again, you are this vast ocean site, which seems pretty immense. But again, like I said, it's just a drop in the bucket of all there is. But this is not to belittle you. or your struggle or your endeavor or your life or anything like that. It's just to let you know, wisdom, the acquisition of wisdom, if you want that, happens little by little, line upon line. Going back to what I was saying about Jesus, Jesus taught a bunch of cool stuff, but how did Jesus gain his wisdom? What does the Bible say? He learned line upon line and precept upon precept, the way anybody else does.
Hello! Pay attention to me!
He started out as a scrappy little child like that.
I'm not scrappy.
Yeah, you are scrappy.
No!
You're a scrappy little child.
What's that mean, Daddy?
And he grew.
What does that mean?
He grew in stature and in wisdom.
Daddy, what's scrappy mean?
What does scrappy mean? Scrappy means you're tough. How are you tough? You're tough. You know it.
Because I have abs.
Yeah, because you got a six-pack going on there. That's why.
Look at my abs, Daddy.
So, where are we going with this?
Abs?
So one of our friends on YouTube, Eve joined the conversation a little bit late. He's going off to college. He's 19 years old, and he wants some advice for his life because he feels kind of sad and he feels kind of anxious, and he wants to get healthier. He's a little overweight. He's struggling with anxiety and fear. Have you ever felt like that, Eve? What is he scared of? That's a good question. Matthew, what are you scared of? Eve just asked me, what is he scared of? That's a great question. Anxiety it's like fear. It's a certain type of fear.
Like what? Daddy, what's fear?
What is fear?
What kind of fear?
What type of fear? Man, that's a good question. What type of fear is anxiety? Man, I don't know. I don't have a dictionary in front of me. It just seems like that's a word that gets thrown around like, I don't know.
Daddy, did I ever feel anxiety before?
Probably, like when you saw that crab and you were like, it's a crab, it's coming after me, and you started running away. That was an anxious moment for you. And I'm trying to tell you, crabs are harmless. The crab can't hurt you. And yet,
I got happy.
and yet my daughter's like, it's a crab. It's like a land spider. It's coming after me. Yeah, we found some crab shells. The jellyfish, they're eating the crabs. A lot of jellyfish on the sand these days.
And Daddy, by the way, we found a red jellyfish without them.
Oh, you did? A red one? Cool.
Yeah.
So,
Jellyfish water.
I like what my daughter Eve said. I don't know if you heard it, but she said, scared of what? Matthew, what are you scared of? You're scared of being uncomfortable? I'm guessing because the way you phrased your question, you said you always gravitate toward what you're comfortable with, and going to college for the first time is a very different thing. Everything's going to change. Well, not everything, but a lot of things are going to change in your life.
Dad, you know what's going to change?
And that's frightening. What's going to change?
What's going to change, Daddy?
What's going to change?
You know what I like about college?
What do you like about college?
No more parents.
No more parents? That was exciting for me, being away from my mom. I remember a lot of the kids at my university were like, oh, boo-hoo, I'm like, I can't see my mom and dad anymore. I'm so sad about that. And I was like, freedom! Yes! Finally!
Is Mom strict?
My mother is very strict. So, that was exciting for me. I loved being away from home for the first time, but not everybody's in that boat. I guess a lot of people have really, really happy home lives that they have a hard time leaving.
Like me and Daddy. But the best thing is I get to buy lots of ramen noodles without saying no, and ice cream too.
My daughter is saying she has a very happy home life, and she'll be very sad when she leaves to college.
But I get to choose what I want to buy, right? Isn't that the point? You get to go and choose by yourself, right?
So, Matthew, go to college, live your life, experience the joy in it, man. It's okay to be afraid. That's a normal human emotion. That's something that keeps us alive. That's a survival mechanism. What is that, Eve?
You can call your parents.
Eve's telling me if you miss your parents, you can call them. You can do that. Totally doable thing.
Maybe have a phone, but if you don't have a phone, I don't know why wouldn't you have a phone, but yeah.
All right, Matthew, I don't know how helpful this has been because I'm kind of distracted on vacation here, but I hope you enjoyed the view. But as I said before with that ocean metaphor, what you're experiencing right now is a drop in the bucket. And when you pan out a little bit, when you have a little more life experience, a little more wisdom, a few more lines upon lines upon lines to have learned and grown from, then
Daddy, when am I going to college?
you are going to
It's
see
gonna be another whole life.
that there's a whole nother set of things to be anxious about in the future, but don't worry
Daddy,
about
let
that
me
just
tell
yet.
you one
Thanks for watching.
Wait, no.
Now get out there.
No.
Oh, my
wait,
daughter wants to
wait,
say
let me
something. What is it?
say
What do you want to say?
something super important.
What do you want to say?
I'm gonna go to college in 9 years, double my life.
You're going to go to college in 9 years?
I'm gonna double my life
You're going to double your life?
because I'm 9.
Oh, yeah.
I'm doubling my life.
All right, Eve's going to go to college in 9 years.
No, I'm gonna double my life.
And if Eve can do it, so can you, my friend. Thanks for watching. Now get out there and train.
Wait, is it your friend watching it?